Hello everybody coming to watch the live video. We are in the process of doing an RS-44 pass. Hopefully this is going to come through. You guys can start watching. We're looking at RS-44, which is one of the best satellites to get long distance contacts. I got Brazil on this once before. It's traveling up from the south, so the northern half of South America is within the footprint, and so am I. Let's make some calls. Kilo Oscar 4, Papa Delta India, Echo Lima 99, CQ satellite. And here, there's people on there. Let's see.
Kilo 4, Sierra Delta Romeo. Sierra Delta Romeo, software defined radio, K4SDR, Echo Lima 87.
Kilo 4 SDR, KO4PDI.
Kilo 4, Sierra Delta Romeo, KE5EG EJ from Kilo 4, Sierra Delta Romeo.
Okay, Roger, Sierra Delta Romeo, Kilo Echo 5, November Juliet, Fox Mike 2829 Delaware, Fox Mike 29 Delaware.
Okay, Fox Mike 29 in Delaware. This is K4SDR. I just wanted to let you know the other operator you were trying to get was Foxtrot Golf 8, Oscar Juliet.
I want to get this guy, but they're having a conversation. I don't want to interrupt them.
Understand. K4SDR.
K4SDR, KO4PDI. Let's see if we can get somebody up.
KE5NJ, KE5NJ, N2FYA, FN41.
November 2, Foxtrot Yankee Alpha, KO4, PDI, Echo Lima 99.
Yeah, KO4PDI, N2FYA. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good. We're streaming live right now on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everything. I'm showing people the SAP box.
Oh, QSL, yeah, that's what I'm using over here. And I just got the G, someone's talking on top of me here, but we got the G5500 Rota set up finally, and everything seems to be working good.
Yes, it's working good. Whoever is on here, we're on here. We're using this frequency. Into yeah, who's this call sign here? This is Kilo Oscar 4, Papa Delta India.
Okay, I got the Kilo something Papa Delta India, Kilo Echo 5, November Juliet, Fox Mike 29 in Delaware.
Hey Chris, Kilo Echo 5, November Juliet, KO4, Kilo Oscar 4, Papa Delta India. I'm in Echo Lima 99. I was just doing a cute. Yes, that's me. Yep, we've talked before. All right, have a good day. KO4PDI 73. Moving to another frequency. That guy is, he thinks he owns the thing. Let's get this guy. November 2, November Whiskey Kilo, Kilo Oscar 4, Papa Delta India.
Kilo Oscar 4, Papa Delta India, November 2, November Whiskey Kilo, Fox Mike 19 Foxtrot here. I'm in Baltimore, Maryland, over.
QSL, I'm streaming live on YouTube right now, trying to get a satellite contact. I'm going to teach you about the SAP box. Have a great activation.
Roger, send me the link, over.
73. All right, we made a couple of contacts there. Let's get this mic out of the way. Ugh. Because I'm using my brand spanking new Rode wireless mics. How's everybody hearing me? You hear me good? It's 2 minutes to 11, so what the heck? Start early. This is my Kilo Oscar 4 Papa Delta India. I had to come on and show you the sat box in action with RS-44. I made 4 contacts on that pass, and you got to watch some of them. That was cool, right? Want to know how the whole thing works? That's why we're here today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch screens. Let's come over here. And so back when I started in ham radio 2 years ago, 2 years, that's it. I've only been doing this 2 years. Somebody said to me that I could talk to satellites. My Elmer, as a matter of fact, my Elmer Jim, ND1C. He said, you could talk to satellites with your technician's license. And I was like, what? And he said, yeah, you could do that. And I was like, I could talk to satellites? Yeah. Well, I went out and I grabbed my Alloance HD1, which is the wrong radio to use to contact satellites, but so be it. That's what I did. And I got my Arrow 2 antenna, and I put a mount on my Arrow 2 antenna so I could mount my iPhone on there so I could use things like GoSat Watch and track the satellite while I'm looking at my phone. If I showed you what that looked like, um, this is GoSat Watch. Like we were just on RS-44, right? So I'm going to click on RS-44, and this is what it shows you, right? So there's the satellite right now, right there, and it is traveling this way. It's going to set up toward the north here, and I would hold this on Arrow 2 antenna with the Alloance HD1 in my hand, and I pointed it at the sky at AO91 at the time. And I heard somebody give me my call sign back. And I was like, I'm talking to space. This is incredible. So, needless to say, first impressions are the best. And I fell in love with this form of communication. So, that's what I did. I started looking into doing satellite contacts. Then I found online, I was looking for an iGate. There is a company in, I think they're on Long Island or Connecticut, one or the other. CSN Technologies. They make an iGate. Well, they don't have them right now. They're not using them right now, and they're not selling that right now. That from what I understand. But I went there and I found a little ad for this. This is the Sat Box, and I fell in love with it. And this is exactly what you get. This is brand spanking new. This one I'm showing you. I haven't even used this one yet. I'll show you later the one that I actually have connected that I use that gets the data on the screen. But this little box, without a computer, knows where you are because it has GPS. It downloads from the internet all the TLE data for all the satellites, and it will control your rotor and it will control your radio for Doppler effect. Now, if you know anything about satellites, some of them have a reverse Doppler effect, some of them have a forward Doppler effect, and there's all kinds of programs, which I've tried them all. SAP PC32 with Ham Radio Deluxe. There's a million apps for satellites, and the reason I tried all of them was because they weren't all uniform. Some of them had the wrong data. They didn't update the TLE data correctly. So what happened was I got a lot of frustration going on. I couldn't get these satellites. They weren't coming up when they were saying they were supposed to come up, and I didn't hear things. The other thing, I watched every Sean Kutzko video on satellites. I started with a pair of M squared omnidirectional satellite antennas, one for 70 centimeters and one for 2 meters. I had that on a cross arm, mounted up about 10 feet in the air, and they worked. As long as the satellite was 30 degrees or above, I could pick up almost every satellite. but I still was left wanting. I didn't get good contacts. I wanted more. I wanted to get more accurate contacts. So I had bought a radio that turned out to be a piece of crap, not mentioning any names, or find a B1, and I ended up returning that. And with the money I got back from it, I bought the Yaesu 5500 rotor. I had some army poles in the backyard, and I decided to use that rotor with a 70 centimeter and a 2 meter Yagi, and that's what I would use to get satellites. Well, hooked that all up. Each one has a preamp, which right now they're going for $300 each. The preamps. I don't know if it's worth it. Maybe get a better antenna. You won't need a preamp because the amount of watts that you're going to use on a satellite is not a lot. Okay, so just know that you don't need the most important thing is to be able to receive. So if you get a good receiving antenna, you'll transmit at 5 watts to 50 watts the most, and you'll get any satellite in the air or up in the sky. So what you saw at the beginning was me doing. I'm going to shut this off so I stop getting interrupted. My Elmer wants to text me. I told him I'm going live at 11 o'clock. He's texting me like crazy. Anyway, what I did was I got into the satellites full steam ahead. I went head over heels for satellites. And when I found this sat box, I was looking for um, a way to get an iGate, and it turned out. Hold on a second. I gotta keep track of this so I know if you're chatting with me. Let me mute this. Hold on a second. I gotta keep. It's so funny watching myself delayed on my phone. It's so funny watching myself delayed on my phone. Okay. Hey Andy, I see you in the chat. Actually, I'm watching the chat on my iPhone. That's why I went to the iPhone. So I could see if you guys got questions for me. Anyway, so where was I? Oh, that's right. I went to get an iGate, and lo and behold, on that page, I found this sat box. And I started reading about it. And I was like, this is too good to be true. This can't possibly work like they're saying it's going to work. Let me tell you something. It does, and it's the best thing since sliced bread. What we're going to do now is I'm going to switch over. I'm going to go over to the camera that's on the sat box right now. I'm going to show you a couple of things on it. So if you get one of these boxes, the first thing you're going to notice is you got a bunch of connections on top. Power. You hook up a USB cable to that just to give it power. This is irrelevant. This relay, what this is you could take this little brangus here and hook up a switch or not a switch, a relay to turn a light on and off so that whenever a satellite's going to rise, it'll flicker the lamp or whatever. I don't use that. I just use the rotor right here, and this is the control cable that goes to your radio. I have an ICOM 9700, and this is where I hook that up. They give you the control cable to hook up to the radio, and they give you the rotor cable to plug into this plug, and then the other side of this goes into your rotor controller. This is a USB cable. That's just to give it power. But that is the sat box in a nutshell. That's all it is. It's this cute little box. Now, how does it work? Well, when you hook it up, it automatically downloads all your TLE data. What is the TLE data? Well, that is the information that tells people when the satellite will rise and when it will set, and the direction it will be in. Basically, everything the sat box needs to perform, this thing does. Now, what you're looking at on the screen now, besides me, is below me, you could see the output of that sat box. You could see the 4 contacts I made on RS-44 right here. Okay. This is all the data on RS-44, which is just setting as we speak. Right here, you can see it's just going down. And then these other satellites over here, this is a list. This screen here can be two different things. It could either be the ground view. So if you're looking at the ground, how high in the sky it will be. And now you see the satellites right there setting. Or you can click on the word ground and it changes to all the passes that are coming over me. This Orbicraft Zork, that's the one I did the video on the other day, talking about how it's streaming SlowScan TV. And I showed you how to download the SlowScan TV, how to trace it, right? Anyway, hold on a second. Let me, I got to make sure I'm seeing all the chats. If you're chatting with me, if you want to talk to me or send me a question, send it on YouTube and I can read it on my phone. All right? So far, we got Andy Cowley. Yeah, Andy Cowley's there. And anybody else wants to chat, type a question in and I'll be able to read it. Okay, so right now you see that the RS-44 satellite is setting. The TLE data, if you click on, well, first of all, the screen you're looking at is what comes up when you click onto the IP address that's on the screen of your sat box. I'm going to switch the camera around and show you the sat box that I'm using. I actually have two of them, and we're going to switch this around. And you can watch me do that too. Here's a look at my ham shack. We added another monitor up there. So now I can run, that's my log. This is FT8 running down here, which I really should stop all that because it's just a distraction. Anyway, I am going to switch over to this location and let you see the actual sat box. And you can get a good look at that. There you go. So there's my rotor controller on the left. And there's the sat box that I'm using right now on the right. Now I am going to turn off the sat box and I'm going to disconnect the power and then reconnect it. I want to show you what comes up. The way this works, when you first turn it on, if you've never used it before, it's going to create an access point. There you go. You see it initializing. It beeps, starting radio, and it gives you an IP address. You see that IP address? 192.168.68.99. It also has GPS built in. So as soon as it connects, you just go into your browser, you put that IP address. You can see here, here's a better look at it. Here's the IP address on the screen. You could see that 192.168.68.99. So if you do that, you go over to your, let me get the right video for you. That's not the one I want. That's not the one. I'll find it, don't worry. This is live, so exciting, isn't it? Oh, let's see, that's great. Just sat pass. I just want to get the browser. Okay, hold on. Hold on. We're going to make this work one way or the other. Anyway, all right. Well, you can look at the screen here. You can't see it that well. I'm going to close one of these windows. If you were able to see in the address bar on this browser, you would see all you got to do is type in 192.168.68.99. That's not necessarily going to be the IP address you would use, but that's what I would use on my network. And that you put that in, and this screen pops up. The screen you're looking at to my left. This screen just pops up. It'll show up in this position with this graph up here. It'll be blank over here mostly. What this does is download. This is all provided by the sat box. There is no app on your phone, on your computer. There's no there's nothing. It's all. I should show you this, right? Transition over. God, I'm not good at this. I need a producer. That's what I need. All right, so you're looking at the browser to my left, and Right up here in the address line, you see that same IP address that showed up on the SAT box is now in there. Why does it say GPS not locked? That's a new one. Let me park this. I'm parking my rotor right now. So anyhow, this is the screen that comes up. So what do you do for satellites? Well, if you look at the bottom of the screen here, there's a bunch of buttons. I'm not going to teach you how to connect. If you go to the csntechnologies.net website, there are a ton of instructional videos. You can even go on YouTube and search CSN Technologies and go to their YouTube channel, and they have a ton of information that you can watch and learn how to set this all up. But just to give you an idea, if you click on Control, this window opens up. What this window is your rotor controller. I can manually turn the antenna, point it at anything I want, and that's what the control is for. The next thing you have is TL frequency database. This is very important. When you first get the box, the SAT box, you have to go over here and hit Update TLE. I'll click it right now. It'll update the TLE. What the TLE is the current, most accurate data for tracking the satellites. Here you see 193 satellites are loaded. It updated the TLE data on all of them. Then you hit Save. I tell it to auto update every day. AMSAT only updates once a week, but every now and then you'll have something, for instance, the ISS. If they do a spacewalk or they have a ship coming or going from the ISS, whether it's a crew or cargo ship, whatever, they shut off all their data. And sometimes they have to readjust the International Space Station, its orbit in some way. And when they do that, the TLE data changes. So it's very important to update your TLE data at least once a day. And when that data changes, you'll be aware of it. Okay. Next thing you have, Internet Update. This is where the box will go and verify all the frequencies for all the radios, on all the satellites, and update them in your database. So I hit Internet Update, and now it's going to update the internet from the internet, and it's going to come up over here with a little window, frequency database updated. We're done. All right, so now we're current. All right, we can get out of that screen. The next one is rotator. Here's my settings. I have a Yaesu 5500. I move it to park. Park position is this middle number right here. I don't have a ready position. I don't need that. I just put it in park. The tolerances here are all set up by your adjusting of your rotor. What about not adjusting? What am I? Calibrating your rotor. You can just go over here and click auto calibrate. As a matter of fact, this box, this is the one I had that blew for a second time, and I sent it back to these guys, and they were so nice to me. They fixed it for me. And they also added the GPS, which I thought was a cool thing. And they did that because I bought a second one. I think that's why they did it. That was very nice of them. So I have two of them now. The one you're looking at on the screen now is the one I use every day. And actually, you're not looking at it on the screen now. Forget that. Forget I said that. This is the one I use every day. This was the one that twice I had to send it back and get it repaired. Right there, you can see it. And they fixed it for nothing and added the GPS to it, which I'm very grateful for. And I now have a second one, so if I set up a Go box and I want to track satellites remotely, it knows where it is. So I can download the data when I'm home, go out, and check it out. Anyway, here's all your detailed settings for your rotor. You want to make sure you have your antenna flip enabled. It's a long story. If you have a rotor, and say the satellite's going this way, right? But the rotor is facing this way. What it'll do is it'll flip the antenna backwards and track that satellite where it is on the other side. Instead of having to completely turn around 180 degrees and point, it'll just flip the antenna the other direction. Very handy, very good thing to have. Then you hit Save Rotor Settings. It closes the window. The next window we have is Network. When you first turn on the SAT box, it creates an access point. You go into your phone and put that in as the Wi-Fi on your phone. And then you can tell it what Wi-Fi to use. In my case, I'm using PGM6G. I would type my password here, okay? And then this is my MAC address, and I tell it to connect, and it does. Once it connects to that, now it'll give you the IP address on the screen. Then you go to your browser and just type in that IP address, and you're on, okay? So that is the network. Now the radio. This will work with multiple radios, many ICOMs. I don't believe there's any Yaesu radios that it works with. I think it just works with icons. But here's where you put your standard ICOM is the radio I'm using. I'm using an ICOM 9700 on this. This is my address. 192.00 is my baud rate. And this is cool. This one I like. This you can make the main your uplink and your sub your downlink on the 9700, or you have a single downlink, or VFO A is down and B is up. It will automatically set these, whether you need 2 meter or 70 centimeter, it'll automatically do it. I don't do the single downlink. What I do is main is always up, sub is always downlink. That's where I leave mine. After action pass, I don't tell it to do anything. Blah, 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 and I tell it save radio settings. Now the radio settings are in there. Location, this is also important. You want to make sure you get your GPS location and put it in here, but you don't have to. See, it says use GPS. Before I had the GPS unit in here, I had to manually type in the coordinates. Now you don't have to do it. Just click use GPS. It has no GPS lock, which means it probably doesn't have enough satellites, but that's all right. I'll show you in a minute how to know how many satellites you got. Time zone offset, don't need anything there. GPS active. Let me just hit enabled. Let's try it again. Use GPS. No GPS lock. All right, I'll show you how to do it. All right, so over here, this line here, QRZ login. You put your QRZ call sign and your password for QRZ, and it will automatically send these, look up on QRZ these call signs that you enter in. It'll tell you who they are. I'll show you in a second how that works. LCD brightness you can change. The weather API key I don't use. I think that's if you have a weather station and you want to know what the weather is in your location, you can put that in there and it'll keep that information too. Okay, let's close this. Now, how do you know if you have satellites? See up here where it says polar? Oh, wait, I got to change that. That location, put this back to where it was. This was enable with auto grid mode. Save. Okay. So now you see this here, location saved. Why does it say no lock? Let's see, hit satellites. Oh, there's no GPS satellites over me right now. There's actually 2, number 30 here, and the number 1 is somewhere. That's why it's saying no GPS lock. There's no satellites over me. Well, hot diggity dog. Why? I want a satellite. Give me a GPS satellite. Anyway, if I had a lock, which every time I've looked at this, I've had 6 or 8 satellites in there. For some reason today, it doesn't say any. Let me just see. Maybe I got this too close to the rotor controller and it's interfering with its satellite reception. Anyhow, so that's where we're at. And that was location. I get all kinds of things. All right, QSO log. This is where you can enter in. This was N2NWK. I spoke to him on RS44 just a little while ago. If I let me clear this, clear entry. I'll just type in my call sign, KO4PDI. Now, that's my call sign. So I'm listening to the satellite and somebody gives out his call sign. Before I even try to call him, I type his call sign in and I hit lookup. And bam, here's his grid square, here's his state, everything. Now you say to yourself, what do we do now? We add entry. I'm going to click Add Entry, even though I'm going to delete this because that's me. I'm going to hit Add Entry and then close this window. And you will notice, close, right here, the last entry, here I am. And it shows the satellite that was going over at the time, which was, it must be Obi Zorky. That's the one that was in there last. I don't think that one's coming over right now. No, but he's going to be rising soon. This is the one that does the slow scan TV, so I might turn my record on the radio to see if we can get something. But you notice down here, not only did it put my call sign in my grid square, it put the satellite I was talking on, the time I was talking on it, and the date. I'm going to delete that for now so I don't accidentally upload that to my logbook of the world because that would look dumb. But that's what the QSO log is. Now, pass log. If I click pass log, this will show me all the satellites I tracked in this session. There's none there now because I had unplugged it and put it back on. Window. You click window, another window opens up, and in that window, and you can see that right down in the center of the screen, I'm going to choose QSO entry. That's where I would enter my QSO. If I want to look at the map, there's the map of that satellite and where it's going. And there's the plus sign is me right there. And this satellite's going to be coming right up here. This is the one that does the slow scan TV. So we're going to try to record that. And I showed you how to do that yesterday on the video I did yesterday for tracking this satellite. Or was it 2 days ago? I forget. So that's what it'll do. It'll automatically do that. And if I go over here, if I go back to this window and I hit continuous, it will only stay on that satellite. And every pass of that satellite, it will lock onto it and track it with the rotor, with the radio, and the Doppler effect, the whole 9 yards, which is really cool. Say I got a bunch of satellites coming over, and I only want to do the ones that are like 40 degrees or higher or whatever. If I want to make a list of satellites to contact in a day, you can set up a schedule. The way you do that is you go to this button over here. It says Schedule, and you add in the satellites you want to have on a schedule. I happen to have the Zorky one and the ISS in here. But you could put any satellite. You go over here to choose the satellite you want. Say we wanted to get AO91. Where's AO7 because it never comes. And I want to be on the VHF, UHF voice linear super sideband here. Here we go, linear. And that's the transponder I want to connect to. I tell it add sat. And now that is added to my schedule. So then I tell the radio over here, let's close this. Over here, I click on schedule. It's only going to look for those 3 satellites. It's going to track all 3. It's going to ignore everything else and just track those 3 satellites. So you see how versatile this little box is? This thing can do so much stuff. I can't wait to get it loaded into a, loaded into a Go box with a radio and see if I can make some contacts with it. That would be a lot of fun. I think it would be a great time trying to get satellites remotely, not here. Because I got enough power and USB power and all that to power this thing and when I'm outside remotely. So I'm going to use it. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying this because otherwise I feel like I'm talking to myself. Nobody's chatting anything on YouTube. I'm watching the YouTube chat. Only Andy Cowley went there. But let's see what else we got here. What else can I show you? So these are the buttons along the bottom. What you do is once you get a log going, like you see here, I got four entries in a log. I click QSO log and I go over here and I click download log. And it will download it to my computer. If I hit save as, you can see I got a ton of oh, you can't see this. All right. I got a ton of logs I've saved. You save it to your computer. Once you save it to your computer, you can close this. You could actually delete this. But then you upload it to Logbook the World, which you can't see, but I'm going to do it right now on the QSL. There you go. Sign a logbook. It goes to the web page. I get it. I tell it open, and it's going to upload it to Logbook of the World. And then I also upload it to QRZ. All right, it's uploaded to Logbook of the World. So now I can go over to, where's my log on QRZ? Where's my log? No. Oh, that's the page to find out information. Open spot parks on the DXE. Where the heck is my QRZ? Let's add another thing and put QRZ. And we go over here to Logbook, my logbook, and we tell it we want to import from ADIF file. Click Save. Choose the file. It opens the SAPbox directory. I click on the file I want to upload and tell it to import it. And you'll see those 4 contacts will show up in my log. Right after this is done, I tell it continue. It refreshes the log. And if you look, here they are. Here's the 4 contacts I made, single sideband. And that's now on my QRZ log, and it's on my Logbook of the World log. And then I go over here and I tell it export everything to Logbook of the World. And hopefully it picks up a couple of confirmations in the meantime. And then I can delete the log. The log on the SAPbox will only hold 100 entries. So you can't just leave a log going indefinitely on your SAPbox. You have to actually clear it out every now and then. So this is what I do. All right, 6 records were successfully sent to Logbook of the World. Wow, I just went over 23,000 QSOs. Woof. Woof. I just went over 23,000 QSOs. Look at this, 23,007. Oh, we got an incoming one here. What's this guy? Let's review this. FT8. Oh, this is a satellite contact. WB3JUV. I don't think I talked to you, buddy. This was on 5/9. I'd have to go back and check that. Anyway, that's not what we're here for today. We're here for the SATbox. So there you go. There's the SATbox. Now you know how it works. I just want to show you this is such a cool little gadget, man. Until I got this, I was so frustrated with satellites. I could not get it to work to save my life. And it was like pulling teeth. So contact these guys at csntechnologies.net. You can see the link right there. This is now going to go in my Go box and also be a backup in case mine gets blown again. I have no idea what caused it to get blown. There was, the one time there was a huge lightning strike very close to my house. It did not hit my antennas. It did not hit anything but enough static electricity. It blew one of my power strips, and it killed the SATbox. It blew the screen out. So I sent it back to them, and they fixed it for me. They were so nice. So now I decided, I really should have a spare. So if I do have to send it back, but you really don't need a spare. You could have one and take it with you if you want to do remote. I originally got this because this has GPS. The original one I showed you that you see on the screen here, this one originally did not have GPS. So I put that in. When I sent it to them to repair it, they put it in for me, which was really nice of them. And because I bought another one, they did it for free. Don't know if they'll do that for you, but it was very nice. Keith really took care of me. You got Keith, you got Mike, you got a bunch of guys up there. When I first got this, it was so new and it was so hard to understand how to use it that we actually did a Zoom call. And I actually was able to share my screen and let them see my settings, and they tell me the correct settings. They are so helpful. If you have any issues with it, Keith is on the ball. He knows what he's doing. So go to csntechnologies.net. I'll leave the link in the description after I get off here. And feel free to go there and talk to them and ask them questions before you buy. But I will tell you, when I originally bought the original one without the GPS, it was $189. This one, I believe, is $240 now. if you want this one. I can actually show you on the screen. Let's go to that. Let's switch this so you can see what I'm doing here. Let's get this window out of here. Okay, so now here's the website. csntechnologies, plural.net. This is the iGate Mini. That's what I wanted to buy. They're working on a new one, and this one isn't available anymore. But when I came here, I found this SAT box, and I was like, whew, that's interesting. So if you click on the SAT box, it'll open up. It's $275 now. That has GPS built in. They only sell it now with GPS built in. They don't sell it without the GPS. So here's all the information about it. There are a ton of videos that show you each box and things it can do. You can see this. And how to hook up to your network, just like I showed you, rig control, how to set up your radio, how to set up your rotor. That's what this is. And you can see that, I mean, this is so good. Oh, I didn't tell you this. You can pick whatever satellites you want. There, let me show you. If I click View All, here are all the satellites that you could possibly trace and track. I don't notice they're not all checked because you'd never have a minute's peace if you had them all checked. But you got AO109, a bunch of AO91. These are ones, and they're all alphabetical order. The ISS, IO86, JO97. These here, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see this. T level 1 through 8 over here on the right. These here. These were temporarily turned, they're all turned off, but they were on for 24 hours over the weekend. And I made a slew of contacts on them. It was so clear and so good. I couldn't believe how good it sounded. So that's the joy of doing satellites. The other thing I can do now, I uploaded the log so I could delete the log. There we go, delete the log. And we close this. And you'll see these guys will disappear on the bottom. And there you go. So I guess nobody has any questions. If you have that, if you're watching this later on and you have questions, feel free to type them underneath this video and I will answer them as I get to them. If you're on Twitter, feel free to message me directly, KO4PDI, at KO4PDI. If you're on YouTube, at KO4PDI, please follow and subscribe and comment on my videos because that makes me look better to YouTube. I hope this sound worked out good. I hope this isn't too loud. This is a new microphone I'm using. I have the lavalier mic that goes with it, but I couldn't find it, so I'm just using the box. But eventually I have the lavalier mic. You can see it right there. There it is. I love doing these videos. If you don't like them, don't watch. If you do like them, please like it, subscribe, give me a thumbs up on whatever platform you're on, whether it's Twitter, Rumble, YouTube, or Facebook. And on that note, I think that's about it for now, unless you guys got any questions. The only place I can watch messages come in right now is on YouTube. And Andy's the only one that sent me a message on YouTube. So I guess nobody's watching. That's all right. In time, we will build this channel up to a major channel. I have nothing but joy in my heart for ham radio, and all I want to do is share it with people. And I hope you enjoyed that little bit of sharing about the SAT box. SAT. Oh, I forgot. That stands for. There's actually self-contained antenna tracker. That's what SAT stands for, self-contained antenna tracker, or shouldn't it be SCAT? SCAT. I don't think that would have been a great marketing move. That's why I just buy this stuff. I don't sell it or do the marketing for it. Can you imagine if they called it SCAT? Whew. Self-contained antenna tracker. So I hope you enjoyed that. I will tell you, these guys are extremely reliable. If I had a scale of 1 to 5, on 5 stars being the best and 1 is lousy, I'd make this a 10-star review because they did a great job. If you look at their website, they have some quotations on the website. If you see where it says, see what our customers say, where it says, within 5 minutes of plugging this little doodad in, I was hearing satellites. Within 8 minutes, I was talking and making QSOs with it. That was me. I told them that because I gave it a great review from the beginning. And then the support I got from them over time, it just blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. They're very good. These guys are great, and I don't know them. They didn't give me anything for free. They're not giving me these boxes. I bought them with my own money, and my testimonial is my testimonial. If you don't have this kind of luck with yours, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you, but maybe call them and they'll help you get it working really good because it does work amazingly well. If you try doing satellites with SAP PC32, HRD, God, any of the other programs to track satellites, and then went to this, you were like, wait, what? I don't have to do anything? It knows? And it does. And it tunes the radio. It does the whole 9 yards all by itself. So on that note, I just want to wish these guys well and go out and get your sat box at csntechnologies.net. Notice I didn't even pull the plastic off the screen here yet because I haven't used this one yet. I just got it and I'm saving it as a backup to the one that's actually hooked up. So once again, this is what it looks like in action. You could see I got my rotor cable plugged in there. It's hooked up to my rotor, which is just to the left of it. And that's what I use. That's how I get all these satellites. People say I can get multiple satellites, like one right after the other, just by clicking on the satellite name, and it rotates the rotor and sets the frequencies on the radio. It does it all by itself without me having to get involved. So listen, if you enjoy my channel, if you enjoy these little conversations we have, please let me know and leave me a comment, like, subscribe, share my videos, share them any way you want to share them, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Rumble, whatever you want to do. Go right ahead and share me, and I would greatly appreciate the support. I don't have any way to do contributions, but I really don't need any money. I'm doing this for the love of it. That's why I do this. I don't want to be famous. I just love radio. I love satellites. That's why I'm on there often. I would highly suggest joining AMSAT. AMSAT is where all this data and stuff comes from. I'll show you the AMSAT website. Hold on, I'm coming. I'm coming, baby. Okay, there you can see the AMSAT website. If you ever want to know what the deal is with the satellites, because the sat box has a list of all the satellites with all the data and everything, but how do you know if the satellite's actually working? You go to this website, you hit current status under satellite info. Can you see that? Current status, and this page pops up. And if what you want to see is blue, so here, look at these. Look at, we got IO 17 is blue, IO 86 has been blue, ISS data, FM, JO 97. All these satellites are up and running fine. Now this Lilac 2, it's got a yellow thing. That means they just heard telemetry. Blue means they actually were able to make QSOs through it. W4KSY, he's a friend of mine. I talk to him all the time. And he reported that he was able to talk on this at 10:46 UTC, which was about 5 hours ago. And you can see these other satellites, RS-44, I was just on that. I made 4 contacts on that. SO-50, I made a contact on that. I didn't report it, but I made a contact on it. And here's the T-level satellites. And you can look right here, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 all were activated. They were all working right here. They're not anymore, so that's why you don't see any more reports here. Yellow means just data. These satellites down here, XW, 2B, 2C, 2D, 2E, and 2F are really not dependable, so don't waste time. CAS 4A and 4B are usually pretty good, although 4A has not been on for a while. since May 5th was the last time somebody heard KO4A. But KO4B is pretty dependable. Now, all these satellites are listed in the SAT box. If I go back to the SAT box and hit View All, here you go. You got KO4A, KO4B. Notice I eliminated KO4A because it's not activated. It's not working. Right here, I unchecked it. But once you figure out what satellites you want to listen to, and what I do is I go to that AMSAT page and I look at the ones with the most blue, like AO7B. I swear to God, I have never gotten that satellite. I don't know what the heck the story is with it. People are saying they're talking about it here. I never was able to get it. I don't understand. But just to show you, AO7B, if we go to the SAT box, get out of this, save favorites, go over here and type AO7 and do a search. Watch what comes up. AO73, no, it should be 07. That's the problem. AO07, do another search. Okay, so here's AO07. The next pass on this is going to be at 3:53 p.m. today. And look, here's your linear UHF up, VHF down frequencies. 432, 150, and 145, 950 are the frequencies. That's for the B. If you look at A, if you go down here, A linear sideband, look at the frequencies. 29, 450, I don't have that on the 9700. So we don't do A, we only do B, this one here. But still, I've never gotten a contact on this satellite. That's why I took it off my list, because I don't know if it's up, down, whatever. Who knows? Maybe I should add it back in and try it again today at about 4 o'clock this afternoon. It'll be coming by. But you see how cool it is? And now the only problem is, you see on the top here, this is a compass. This is north, south, west, east. It's only going to be 22-degree pass. It's going to rise here in the southeast and go direct to due north. So if I tried to get that satellite, I'd be fine until I get to about here, because I got nothing but trees to this direction. Here I got a good shot at it, but it's going to be pretty low in the sky. Don't think I'll get it. Anyway, hey, please like, comment, subscribe on all my platforms. Pick a platform, and if that's your favorite, activate the alarm, the little bell, so you know when I'm coming on. And as soon as I come on, you'll get a notification. And we'll be doing a lot of stuff. The other day, the reason I did this one is the other day I did the video on the Orbitcraft Zorky satellite, and somebody said to me, well, how do you get that data on your screen? Where are you getting that from? So I decided I was going to do a video on this box to show you exactly where I get that data from. And on that note, I want to remind you, the next video I'm going to do, I may record this, produce it, and then post it later, is on my 705 with the MAT 705 tuner. And I'm going to set that up and show you how that works. And then I'm going to show you how I use the XBA 125B Xiegu amplifier on my 705. So since I'm ripping it all out of the Go box to show you this stuff, I figured, what the heck. On that note, hey folks, likes, subscribe, comment, thumbs up, whatever, Twitter, Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, please get me some more subscribers. Feel free to share these videos and get people to follow me. I would love to have more people following me. And if any of you have any questions about anything I ever do, my email address is Kilo Oscar 4, Papa Delta India, not the words, just the letters, KO4PDI at 1791.com. You can get that off my QRZ page. You can go to my QRZ page and see a lot of the stuff I've done and some of the pictures of my equipment that I'm using. I still haven't set up a camera on the rotor because I want to be able to do that so that you guys can see the rotor and see how it reacts when I make contacts on satellites and how it rotates to keep the antennas pointed at the satellite. But I can't stress enough how much I need you to follow me and like me and comment on my posts, whether it's Facebook or anything. Please, that's the only way I'm going to be able to move along with this. And many thanks to Craig K6EGG who helped me get with the sound on this setup. Thanks to Mike K8MRD for inspiring me to do even more ham radio stuff. And Josh and Jason, Ham Radio 2.0 and Ham Radio Crash Course, you guys are invaluable. I've learned so much from you. Also, Hayden, who's, I think he's, I forget Hayden's YouTube channel, but he's in Australia. Hayden has gotten me through some of the toughest things. When I originally had my Yaesu 991A and I was trying to get it to work on FT8, there were so many things in the menu you had to adjust and change. And if it wasn't for Hayden's video on that, I never would have been able to get that to work. I have since sold that radio because it's such a pain in the butt to use. I now have an ICOM 9700 and an ICOM 7300, along with my FTM 400, which I use as a node, and my FT5D, which I can connect to my node and talk to people on it in my area. I guess that's about it for today. I want to thank you all for watching. You guys did great, and I appreciate all your support. And until the next time, which will probably be in like 2 or 3 days, I'll get that video on the 705 and the tuner and the amplifier for the 705. I'll get that information for you next. All right, this is Kilo Oscar 4, Papa Delta India, wishing you a wonderful 73 and saying good day.